Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated. Grenada's economy is heading for its 7th year of consistent growth, averaging over 5%. Unemployment was reduced by 20%, while debt to GDP ratio was reduced from 108% to 63.5%. NNP committed to the economic and social development of our people. NNP delivering on the promise.
Seatbelts are not as confining as a wheelchair. Drive carefully. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
NADMA says relief aid from Grenada must be properly coordinated according to the needs of the Bahamas. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Thursday, September 5th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Grenada's relief efforts must be organized and properly coordinated. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, will be coordinating the relief efforts from Grenada to the government and the people of the Bahamas. The agency's coordinator, Superintendent Sylvan McIntyre, said our assistance to the Bahamians must be structured and conducted on a needs basis. The Abaco Islands and the Grand Bahama were completely devastated by Hurricane Dorian, leaving over 78,000 residents homeless and at least 20 dead. Grenadians are encouraged to donate water, sanitation material, and money.
One of the things that we want to guard against in times like these is that there are people who, in the emergency situation, uses the opportunity and capitalize on opportunity to do things that might be unscrupulous. And what we would want to say is to ensure that people do things that is transparent and that it is done coordinatedly so that the people that are most affected, they benefit from the effort. We are encouraging persons who wish to make a contribution that monetary donations should first be considered.
McIntyre said there is a selection process for relief personnel. As it stands, officials from Grenada are on standby, awaiting directives from the Bahamas.
The Bahamian government would not allow just every and anybody or ad hoc to come into territory because that could burden the response system. So there is a selection process, there's an identification process. As needs are assessed, the technical experts would be required to come in and assist. There are a few of us from the Caribbean who've been asked to be on standby as the case may be, because this would be one for the long haul. The emergency period is going to last for some time, and then it goes into the recovery phase and then the reconstruction. So it's quite a long way, and understanding what is really done to the country, it would be a very long time before the recovery process kicks in.
He said individuals interested in sending supplies to the islands must ensure that they are items. According to McIntyre, the island has enough water and food to last for 2 weeks.
The territory, the islands, they have enough food and water to supply the inhabitants for at least 2 weeks. And that in itself is an indication as to how the situation is weighed out. So if we are sending we have to ensure that it is what is required. It is supposed to be non-perishable, and we want to ensure that when it gets there, it makes good sense and it meets the need of those who require it.
Search efforts continue by rescue officials for survivors. An addition has been made to the machinery used at the Grenada Ports Authority. On Thursday, a commissioning ceremony was held to commemorate the arrival of 6 forklifts that has been acquired by the managerial team of the Ports Authority. General Manager of the Grenada Ports Authority, Mr. Carlyle Phillips, said the equipment will help in the advancement of tasks at the port.
One of the objectives of the Port Authority is to ensure that we continuously take measures to improve the efficiency of our operations, as Mr. Klein would have mentioned, and improve the service that we provide to our key stakeholders. Apart from that, of course, the forklifts are in keeping with the authority's policy to replace its fleet of equipment after a certain reasonable time. In other words, there's no sense we having at the Port Authority equipment that are not modern, equipment that cannot do the work that they are required to do.
Two of the forklifts are 10,000 ton, which can carry heavier loads. Mr. Felix gave the assurance that measures will be put in place so that the machinery can be long-lasting.
While we invest a lot in equipment and we invest a lot in our staff and we invest in a number of facilities, we need to pay attention to how we take care of them, especially the heavy equipment and the gears. All right, so going forward, we are going to be looking very critically at that area and put policies and procedures in place to ensure that the equipment, we maximize the lifespan of the equipment.
One of the stakeholders present at the ceremony, representing LA Purcell, Stacey Ridges, is thankful to the management of the authority for taking heed to their concerns.
It's a great pleasure to the management and staff of the Grenada Port Authority to see that they have been listening to stakeholders and customers like me, because we operate on this port on a daily basis, and sometimes it could be a real task when we come for a forklift and all is out. On behalf of all the members and staff and stakeholders like myself, thank you so very much, and we know that it's going to make our operation much easier in doing business on the port.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. 65 students from the St. Mark's Secondary School and the Bonnet Government School are now more equipped for the new school term, thanks to donations of school supplies from the Grenada Veterans of Foreign Services. The New York-based organization has assisted over 500 students since the start of their engagement. 45 students from the St. Mark's Secondary School were recipients of backpacks with school supplies. The organization also made a contribution of 2 laptops, 2 tablets, and 2 checks valued at $500 EC to 2 students. President Joseph Granger said the goal is to cover more schools in the island.
Since 2012, I wanted to roughly guesstimate about 500 students so far, and counting, because you're going to keep going every year, so there'll be more. Maybe in the next 7 years, maybe hitting 1,500. So it's an ongoing process.
20 students from the Bonnet Government School were also recipients of the donation.
There's 20 lucky students for Bonnet, but I'm thinking that being that I got such a good reception at the St. Mark's School here, I will come back again and I do the same thing for Bonheur. So I think I'll be hitting those 2 schools again and then move on to another school. So maybe when I come back next year, I might try to hit 3 schools. But this is where we're moving from here.
Vice Principal of the St. Mark's Secondary School, Caris Degans, is grateful to the organization for their timely gesture. She said the school has been succeeding academically and this will push the students to aim higher.
We are very appreciative of the initiative taken on by this particular organization and spearheaded by Mr. Joseph Granger. We are indeed happy that we were seen as a worthy recipient of this particular initiative. And we have been excelling academically at St. Mark's Secondary, and we trust that with this initiative, our students will use the supplies that they would have been given to continue excelling. Students were chosen based on needs. There's some students within our community who may not have been able to afford just the basic things that they need for school. And also we wanted to recognize students who have continually been excelling from Form 1 to Form 3. So it was a mixture of both of those.
And finally, the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, through support from the 4-H unit, is promoting healthy eating habits for students. As we hear in this report from the Ministry of Agriculture's Public Relations Department, they held their first Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen session for the year.
We are curious little hands in the kitchen. We eat healthy.
Teaching children how to eat healthy at a young age increases the likelihood that they will stay healthy throughout their lives. This practice is associated with good nutrition and healthy weight, reduced chronic disease risks, and overall health. These are attributes being taken into consideration by the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, GFNC, as it promotes eating healthy through the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen program, CLHK. With support from the 4-H Club, the Council held its first CLHK session for 2019 at the St. Michael's Roman Catholic School at Bylands on Wednesday, 28th August. 10 students from the school's 4-H Club were guided by officers of the GFNC and supported by the 4-H unit. They were guided on preparing 5 dishes that would aim to replace unhealthy snacks and beverages. The finished products included avocado sandwiches, carrot sandwiches, banana mango bread, fruit pizza, and chicky plantain tots. The students, who were placed in 3 groups, utilized local produce such as watermelon, cantaloupe, avocados, and plantains. They were also taught basic kitchen safety guidelines and exposed to kitchen techniques such as grating and mincing.
And I make sandwich with cheese and carrots. I grate the cheese and I grate the carrot. And I mix it. And I put it in the sandwich and I make open face.
I grate the carrot. I put it in mint chicken and salt. After I put it in the plantain, after I leave it like bake.
Ms. Fabian Lalit, teacher at the school responsible for the 4-H unit, was an influential figure in bringing the program to her school.
I thought it was a good idea to expose them to healthy snacks. It would help the children to think wisely. They would be more conscious of what they eat, what they put into their mouths, because it has been explained to them, why we do in the session. So and I think that they had fun, so I think they would share what they have learned today with the other children.
Ms. Jessie Douglas, Community Nutrition Supervisor at the GFNC, underscored the importance of the program.
We want to start with our young children. So we want to introduce them to getting an appreciation for their local foods and also learning to prepare those foods. So the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen is undertaking our Food and Nutrition Council that work time to time with young children throughout the Tri-Island states. We expect the children to go home and share with their family members and friends the items they prepare. We also want them to eat local as much as possible.
Mrs. Anna Abraham, Agricultural Officer within the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, responsible for the St. Andrew District of the 4-H unit, highlighted the importance of showing children how to eat healthy.
We tell children to eat healthy, but we never show them exactly what to do, what to eat that is healthy. We know that eating fruits and so are much healthier to use than other things. So what they learned here today will benefit them, health-wise. Instead of eating like I said earlier on, the corncoals and all the packet snacks, they can make those things.
The Grenada Food and Nutrition Council has worked with over 10 schools to implement the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen program. It provides a foundation for healthy eating by inspiring children to learn to cook easy, inexpensive, tasty foods using locally grown produce. Reporting for the Ministry of Agriculture's Public Relations Unit, I am Mina Booker.
Thank you, Mina. That story just ended the national report for today, Thursday, September 5th. Let's recap the top story. NADMA says relief aid from Grenada must be properly coordinated according to the needs of the Bahamas. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Want to stay married? Divorce speed. Never drink and drive. After whiskey, driving is risky. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Approximately US $9.5 million in scholarships were awarded by the government of Grenada in partnership with the St. George's University, as 80 bright minds now focus on the task of getting an education instead of worrying about how to pay for their bachelor's and master's degrees. 80 recipients were awarded at a recent ceremony on Thursday, May 1st at the Grenada Youth Centre in Montrouge, St. George. These awards were for island scholarships and scholarships to various programs at the St. George's University SGU. Annette Moore has the details.
Approximately US $9.5 million in scholarships were awarded by the government of Grenada in partnership with the St. George's University to 80 ambitious young people who can now focus on the task of getting an education instead of worrying about how to pay for their various degree programs.
My name is Samit Mitchell. I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in the field of sociology, and the award I received today is full scholarship to further my education.
My name is Kelly Callis. I was a recipient of an award to pursue medicine at the St. George's University that commenced actually in January of 2019. Coming from poor, humble beginnings like myself, there is no way myself or my family could have assisted me in financing a medical degree. So the assistance that is presented here today to myself and all the other recipients of the varying awards and so forth, of course you go a very, very long way in differing costs.
You worked real hard and you know exactly what you want and need. So believe and you will never give up. You can reach your goals. Just talk to your soul and say, I believe I can, I believe I will, I believe I know my dreams are real. I believe I'll stand, I believe I'll dance, I believe I'll grow real soon. And that is what I do believe.
We place great importance in the development of our human capital as a key element for our development agenda. As we continue our journey of economic and social transformation, we aim to equip our people, you, our awardees, with the right skills and the capabilities needed, not just for today, but for the future as well.
It's really helpful because I know if I had not received the award, I probably would have to work several years to study. But this award is definitely going to help me advance my academic and career goals.
The 80 recipients were awarded at a recent ceremony on Thursday, May 1st, 2019, at the Grenada Youth Center in Montrouge, St. George. These awards were for island scholarships and scholarships to various programs at the St. George's University.
It is my ambition to pursue a degree in law. I want to specialize in international law because I feel that it's very relevant to today's society.
So my name is Nick Nicholas. I come from the parish of St. Patrick's, specifically Moncraven St. Patrick's. This is my first year in SU. It's my first semester. I'm doing information technology.
We really do believe that we need to be promoting and exposing the positives in our society. Very often we hear, the negatives. And sitting before us this morning is a group of intelligent young people who have taken the bold step to go on to improve themselves, improve their lives, improve their country by virtue of the skills and talents they will acquire during their period of study.
The awards to SGU included 5 for pre-medicine, 24 in the field of medicine, 1 for veterinary medicine, and 2 for the Masters in Public Health degree.
As a child growing up, I always figured I want to pursue a career in medicine. So when the opportunity presented itself in 2016 to move on from teaching, I first pursued a degree in biology at the same St. George's University in 2.5 years. And then I was lucky to receive an award to go to the medical field.
My name is Toya Midi. I'm 19 years old and I'm currently enrolled in the pre-medical science program at SGU. And today I received the Island Scholarship. I always had that passion, that interest in medicine. Hopefully in the future I'll become a surgeon, probably cardio.
In the Arts and Sciences division, awards for bachelor degree programs were presented as follows: 3 for accounting and finance, 8 for biology, 10 for information technology, 4 each for international business and psychology, and 1 each for tourism and hospitality management, sociology, and management.
Interested in what IT has to bring and what SU has to bring to the table in terms of IT.
There were 11 award recipients for nursing.
I am Shanique Strawn and I am doing the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing at the St. George's University. I've just completed my first semester of my second year. I have always wanted to be a nurse. The nursing program itself, it's very, very good. It's very detailed. It's outstanding. The lecturers are fantastic. My future goal is to be a nurse practitioner. I'm not sure if I want to be like a family practice or pediatrics or so on. But that is the route I'm going because the country, we need a nurse practitioner or two. Yeah.
Apart from this, there were 6 Island Scholars awarded.
My name is Trevon St. Bernard. I just finished, as of last year, the T. Marisho Community College. I received the Grenada Island Scholarship for the Department of Humanities.
It's a great honor as well to receive the scholarship to aid in, helping my mom pay for my education.
My heartfelt congratulations to all of you awardees here today. I also acknowledge the presence of your families, your teachers, friends, and applaud them for all of their support to you and the role that they have been playing in developing you and getting you to this point of your life. We are recognizing your outstanding academic achievements and your potential really to contribute more to our country's development.
The Permanent Secretary for Human Resource Development and Religious Affairs, Jacinta Joseph, thanked the National Training Awards Selection Committee.
Mrs. Antoine and David Antoine, Chair, Mr. Vicar Ashby, Deputy Chair, and other members of the National Training Awards Selection Committee, a hearty welcome to you. It is always good to have you here with us to witness the presentation of the awards to the students who you have found to be most eligible.
Both the Permanent Secretary and the Minister with responsibility for tertiary education, human resource development and education outreach, Honorable Pamela Moses, extended appreciation to the St. George's University.
On behalf of the government and the people of Grenada, I extend grateful thanks and appreciation to St. George's University for the long and enduring partnership that they've had with our government, the government of Grenada. And through these awards and other initiatives of theirs, they have contributed significantly to our development agenda.
The minister also congratulated recipients and outlined an additional scholarship award requirement.
We will formalize a structure whereby you'll be called to undertake community service type activities during the school summer vacation as a way of giving back in small measure to all the millions of dollars that has been invested in you. The activity undertaken by you can be of your choice, somewhat, that benefits not just you, but the wider community.
I made sure I had to do my absolute best to keep my GPA above a certain standard in order to apply and get through with the scholarship. And with the scholarship now, I know I'm bound to the government for a few years, which is good because I want to give back.
I'm just too grateful for the government of Grenada for seeing it fit to bestow such on us as recipients today.
It was a happy moment because for me it takes away a big burden off my back because I'm a mother of 3 children and studying at this time will be very difficult if you don't have the finance, so I'm very grateful.
From the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development and Religious Affairs, we wish you all the best in your journey to be great leaders of this country. And we look forward to you serving this nation at the end of it all with pride.
I always see myself as someone who likes to give back to humanity, and I would have done so while I was a teacher, but I wanted another avenue in which I can do the same thing, but in a different way in terms of helping to save lives and to restore health to people.
The government contributing to this is just huge. It's very much appreciated.
Just really hoping to pay back, for the investment they made in me. If my mom and dad is watching, I guess you guys are proud now. I'm on TV.
To people and mainly young people out there, sometimes the road to success is not easy. You will encounter a lot of bumps along the way, but I will say to you, never give up on your dreams. Go hard, go after it.
For State of Affairs, I'm Annette Moore.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
It's coming, the new family of EC Polymer Notes.
What is different about these notes?
The feel.
Polymer notes are made from a thin plastic film which makes the notes feel smoother than the paper notes.
The orientation.
The notes have a portrait orientation. You will read the notes from top to bottom instead of left to right as you do with the paper notes.
Unique tactile feature.
The front of each note has raised bumps at the top left-hand corner. These bumps form shapes that are familiar to you.
Holographic foil strip.
This feature is on the $20, $50, and $100. When you tilt the notes, the images and colors in this section will change.
New image on the $50.
The back of the $50 bears the image of former governor of the ECCB, the late Honorable Sir K. Dwight Venner.
New signature.
All the notes bear the signature of the current governor, Timothy N.J. Antoine.
EC Polymer Notes. Cleaner, safer, stronger.
Government pension. What are the facts? Are all public workers entitled to pension? Are public workers owed gratuity? Here are the facts. Fact 1. The Pension Disqualification Act of 1983 was validated on April 21, 1985 by the democratically elected government, led by former Prime Minister Herbert A. Blaise. This means that public workers employed after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from the government of Grenada. Fact 2. The judgment in the Hermelin Armstrong case does not create legal precedents for the reinstatement of pension to public workers employed after February 22, 1985. The judgment created a legal precedent only for those workers who joined the public service in a pensionable post between April 4, 1983 and February 22, 1985. There were 56 such workers. The government restored pension to those 56 workers in 2018 at a cost of $7.7 million. Fact 3. All officers employed in a pensionable post who joined the service after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from government. They are only entitled to a pension from NIS once they meet the necessary requirements as per the NIS Act. Fact 4. The Cabinet's decision in 2016 to reform pension is rooted in moral and social justice principles, and it is not a legal obligation. Therefore, any agreement on pension is a win for public workers. Fact 5. The MOU signed between government, the unions, and staff associations in February and March 2018 stated that the pension regime which will be implemented must be affordable and sustainable. Fact 6. The proposed pension regime for public workers employed between February 22, 1985 and December 31, 2018, as stated in the MOU, is a non-contributory pension plan. Therefore, no deductions will be taken from workers' salaries to finance their pension from government. Pensioners also benefit from any future negotiated salary increases. Fact 7. It was agreed by all parties that a worker's annual pension would be a minimum of 70% of their final salary to be paid jointly by the NIS and the government of Grenada. Fact 8. Government is not obligated to offer an advanced pension payment, commonly called a gratuity. Government has proposed to make an advanced pension payment of 2% of full pension, an amount it can practically and reasonably afford given its current and projected revenue stream. It should be noted that an advanced pension payment is a non-interest-bearing loan that the government grants to the pensioner, which must then be repaid in equal monthly installments in the form of a reduced monthly pension over 12 and a half years. Fact 9. Under the proposed 2% advanced pension payment or gratuity, retirees will be entitled to a higher monthly pension than if a larger advanced payment was given. Fact 10. If the government accommodates any higher rate of gratuity, the implications would be severe for the country, as this will translate to higher taxes such as VAT, income tax and property tax, higher import duties, the possibility that hundreds of millions of dollars in grants would be lost, lower expenditure in critical areas such as healthcare, agriculture, roadworks and youth development, retrenchment of workers. These are the facts. Government is committed to an amicable resolution to the pension matter for the good of all Grenadians.
Dirty heart, tell me why you see now. You're full of energy, and you can't tire, but mine it don't work it. All you try to get me fired, but that still ain't working. Try to make me woman leave me, but but I still ain't walking. Go by or be a man to do me. Oh, oh, oh. It ain't walking, no, no, no. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. You're expert.
And good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pretty Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. My name is Sheldon Scott.
I'm Devon Romain.
It's now 36 minutes after the hour of 10 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada, and we are live on 89.5 CRFM.
And 97.5 City Sound.
At least online.
Online.
Yeah, at least online on City Sound. And we're live in Carriacou via 92.9.
And in Brooklyn, New York, 94.9 We Noise Radio.
Yeah. So, folks, it is a beautiful Friday. As usual, we do the week in review on a Friday. Yeah. So, what's in the news, man? I know CPL going on and them kind of thing. I doesn't follow cricket these days.
But dominating the week basically was Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah.
And, that basically dominated nearly all discussions.
But Devon, I've seen some stories coming out of the Bahamas. Really, really, really sad.
Yeah.
The death toll, of course, is going to rise. It's past 30 now. And it definitely, we would hope that it will not, but we have to be realistic and pragmatic. Yeah, a lot of tick. You have to be tick. So it definitely will rise. The prayers of our Grenadian people continue to go to our brothers and sisters in the Bahamas. And we continue to prepare to assist in whichever way possible. Yeah. Already, there is an emergency response team on standby here in Grenada to go. Yeah? Superintendent Sylvan McIntyre did ensure that he let us know that the team is on standby. They're waiting for the okay from the Bahamian government. Yeah, so the Grenadian team, as part of SEDIMA's overall response, the Grenadian team is here on standby, waiting to go. Now, this is not a sightseeing thing, because a lot of people, I want to go. You want to go for what? Because when you go now, then they have to provide food, they have to provide water, they have to provide shelter, they have to provide transport for you. The best way to help, I know some of us, I really don't understand how we just think. The best way to assist right now is cash. Cash, not even the food stuff and thing. They have enough food and water for 2 weeks. The way, and that is from the Bahamian government, they have enough food and water for 2 weeks, and then maybe they'll start to get shipments from other parts of the Caribbean who wants to send stuff up and that sort of thing. We know that they have immediate need for clothes and those sort of things. But consider this, the amount of money it's going to cost to transport those things from down in the southern Caribbean up to the northern Caribbean. Whereas, if we go and we send the money via the bank account, we send money via the bank account to the relief effort, they could just head over to Miami and get the stuff. You're talking about, on a clear day, you've probably seen the Bahamas from the edge of Florida. So they can assist, better by sending money. And the account number, the Grenada Cooperative Bank, 121-004900. That's 121-004900. So, folks, you can assist by giving hard cash. It might be $5, but if everybody in Grenada give her $5, you understand? That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's beds that you could buy for people. That's food. That's water. That's clothing that we could assist them with. Rather than trying to spend a set of money unnecessarily transporting from here to up there.
Because what would happen? usually with the ships and so coming, let's say, from Grenada or even Trinidad, the cost of the fuel to transport to the Bahamas would worth more than the amount of goods that you basically bring into the Bahamas.
Yep, sometimes that's the cost,
You know, so,
by the time you pay for that fuel,
yeah, the fuel
and
costs alone.
other associated costs and so on. Yeah.
So you may as well organize, get to the relevant authorities who are responsible for the bank accounts and so on. You send the hard cold cash to them, let them decide what is needed at this point in time so they can do it. You know, it is much better. And you have a good coordination on the ground. You have SEDIMA, you have the British, and then you have the Americans. So there are good coordination together with the Bahamian government, ensuring that, you know, everything go as smooth as possible.
From what we've seen and what has been reported through SEDIMA, the Bahamian government, and so on, what we've seen, there's total devastation in certain areas. There have been, unfortunately, a lot of loss of life. The flooding totally destroyed certain communities. And imagine this, you're in your place, the wind takes the roof, and then the water starts to rise. And you end up in the area where the roof's supposed to be. So you're basically open to the elements.
Trap.
Yeah, you have to climb and you have to try to reach up into the ceiling and stay on top there. Or if you're lucky enough that you still had a roof, you had to climb on top of the roof, and then the wind tried to take the roof with you on it. So it was a difficult one. And also remember that some people had to go through this, not for a few hours like in Grenada's case, and we're not saying Grenada's case was any easier. In Grenada's case, where Hurricane Ivan passed, and basically around 2 the evening, you started to get pong. Then he come ting somewhere around probably 5, 6 somewhere there. You get, well, at least in St. David's, you had the eye passing somewhere around then, and then it start back again into the night. These people had to go through this for 2 days. This storm stopped over them and pound them mercilessly for 2 days.
Snail walk.
Yeah. A Category 5 hurricane stayed over them for 2 days. So it was not an easy one. If we can assist in whichever way possible, let us as Grenadians assist. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
And as we in the whole question of hurricane and disasters, just a reminder or a footnote that tomorrow the 7th is the birthday of Hurricane Ivan.
You have to go and remind us of that one.
Yes, I have to remind. You see,
right.
and that will help put back that level of consciousness, the preparedness, right, more so into our minds. We must be prepared, right? No matter how much you hear, you get the call from NAGMA or whatever and say a system thing and it's not too close. The important thing is to be prepared. You can never be over prepared, right? But if you are caught unprepared, it is problem. Usually, disasters are created by us, you know, and so when we're not prepared, and so we have to be mindful, be careful, right, of what is important with the hurricanes and the preparedness. NAGMA always try to remind us as a people, be prepared. Get your kit, first aid kit, get your stores, get your dry clothes, have your supply of water. It is so important, all right? And listen to NAGMA, the official voice of any type of disaster in Grenada.
Ivan birthday.
Ivan birthday.
What happened with you during Ivan, Devon?
Well, I got caught, in the house for a while and I had to evacuate. and so... but generally, the damage, for example, for myself and the family was not that, great. We were spared, We were spared the wrath of it. We stood in a wooden house. I mean, that was old, way back. I was built somewhere in the 70s, late 60s and 70s. And we stood there for a period and watched houses that were built 5-10 years ago, wood, concrete houses, the roof just fly off. And we lost about 3 or 4 sheets all galvanized on our house. It's amazing, when you see that. So one thing again, Ivan has really instilled in us is the whole question of building back better. right? Taking that the whole question of the rules and regulation governing proper structures, and so we took good heed of that, and that is good. Right, we've seen a lot of people doing the necessary things that needs to be done, the hurricane straps, and so ensuring that that you have strong foundation, good roofing, proper windows, and so you do not be caught off guard.
Because one of the things you're hearing from the Bahamas is that the windows blew out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hearing the windows they just blow out.
Just blow out. And see, so that has really, and look,
they got the worst. They got flooding. They got flooding and they got wind.
They got wind.
And we're talking about wind that was much stronger than what we got here.
Yeah. Way stronger than what we got here.
Yeah, so they got it extremely, extremely bad. But Hurricane Ivan, that would be how much years ago? A lot of years ago, man.
Would be 2004, so it would be about 15, 14.
So in other words, the children who are in secondary school now, they never experienced that.
No, most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah, Form 4s go down, they never experience.
And those that did experience, they could barely remember that. They would have been at age 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
a serious one. And when Ivan struck, it was the beginning of the school term. So you had school had to be put off for a couple of months.
Yeah, and then you also had countries like Trinidad and so on offering to take our Grenadian students.
Grenadians, one or two of the other small islands did, St. Lucia, and so did take a couple of company, like for example, Flow. They had a system where the company was offering for workers, children to be, move to St. Lucia and these places where, to continue school for a couple of months. And that was good,
Yeah, and let me say a special good morning to those of you on the live this morning. We say a special good morning to you, Carol Francois de Coteau. Francois.
Good morning, Carol.
Betty, good morning to you. And I did say good morning to Hannah already. Blossom, good morning to you. And good morning to you, Paddy's. Yeah, folks, remember to like and share the video. Remember to like and share the video, as I'm doing right now. Like and share the video. Yeah, technical man, you could drop some photos just now. Ivan photos. Yeah? You'll find it in your WhatsApp. Yeah, you'll drop my photos, the photos I took. Yeah, I ain't gonna take other people's photos and drop. Drop my photos I take.
I remember, Sheldon, the afternoon. No, the day after. And the all clear was given. We took a drive to reach on 1910. That was the furthest we could have reached at that time, coming from Grenville. And when you look down at Willis and
you mean what remained of Willis?
What remained of the northeast, parts of the northeast. It's amazing, to see where we were at that time and where we are now. And so it was total devastation. The trees, the houses, everything was just out of this.
Strange enough, I went up there, I didn't take much photos in Bolio area. I got up to Bolio. I got up to, I think, Snug Corner. But I didn't take much photos.
I saw it from on top, man. I was like, oh, my God. Look at what,
Yeah. And the thing is that what we saw, what we're seeing happening there, luckily we didn't have that much flooding.
Yes.
We didn't have that much flooding, and so we had a lot of wind, but we didn't have much flooding, luckily.
Yeah, because if you notice, right after everything happened, calmed down, the next day, the sun was hot like... as a matter of fact, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, the place was dry, hot, and then where all the trees was blown down and everything, like no shade. So it became a little bit more uncomfortable, for a lot of persons who had to be moving up and down every day, to ensure they roof back on the house, to wash out all the clothes and everything. I remember
if you could have find your clothes.
Yeah, right there in Granborough River. That was one of the first time I see... Well, not one of the first time, but one of the times that I see such unity among persons within the community. Granborough, Ford, even Grenville. They coming together right there in the Granborough River for about 2 or 3 weeks. Every day, 4 and 5 big pot was cooking right there on the bridge while the mothers and the children and so were washing all the clothes, and so the men went out fishing and getting breadfruit, what remained of fruit from a tree, and so to cook. For about 2 weeks. You know, it was amazing. You come there, you wash, you clean, and you got food. And that type of spirit, you know, just remind us of what used to.
But with all that we're saying here, I think the main lesson to learn, and this week's lesson was a tough one for a lot of people to learn. It's always be prepared. Always heed the warning. Always heed the warning of the local national disaster agency. Whether you're here in Grenada or you're in Florida right now listening, or you're in New York City, wherever it is, once the National Disaster Management Agency or your local disaster management agency says time to move, it's time to move. Yeah? We have certain areas in Grenada, we know when we have substantial amounts of rain, don't hang around there, like, you know, Baltazar, for instance.
Go to higher ground.
We know there. We know certain areas within River Road, floodplain. You know not to hang out in those areas, not to try to drive through those areas, because there are people that does think sometimes, I could still make it through, man, let me head down. And 4 inches of water taking your vehicle and go with it, you know. Right? So we have those sort of situations. So we need to be extremely careful. Additionally, we have to always be prepared. Every home in the state of Grenada ought to permanently have a disaster kit. During the hurricane season, a hurricane kit. But that doesn't mean that you can't have earthquakes too. An earthquake could happen today. An earthquake could happen right now. It could happen at any time. And earthquakes are, in my mind, a lot worse than hurricanes in that there's no indication. You just feel the earth start to shake. It's nothing like, okay, we see a tropical depression leave the coast of Africa and it's developing, and it has 90% chance of development within the next few days, and it's tracking this direction, so the likelihood of it falling, you ain't get that. With an earthquake, it's just shake. So you must have your disaster management kit in place. And I wonder, next week, I think we should be having Oslin.
Yes.
Yeah. So you must have your disaster management kit in place.
Also, it's important to have a disaster plan, you know, for the different types of disaster. What are the things that those of, you know, in the household supposed to be doing? Your son responsible for that, the daughter responsible, the mother, the father. You know, the responsibility you share it. So you develop a nice plan in the case of a hurricane, in the case of an earthquake, right, or fire. What are the things that you as an individual is responsible for, and so on? It's very important. So a plan and your supplies is very important to have in place, right? You must always have that. Don't just wait for the hurricane season, but remember that that's not the only type of disaster or hazard that we have. As Sheldon mentioned, you have the earthquakes, you have fires, you have flooding, you have things that will happen unexpectedly, but you have to be prepared. Okay?
Mm-hmm. So you must be prepared at all times. If you know you live in a low-lying area, an area that's prone to flooding, what do? Do you stay there and wait until the water starts to rise, or do you get out long before and make sure that you have your important documents? And so, because a lot of people, I'm sure they lost some important documents, and so, so that is basically in the St. David area. For those of you that are online and viewing, and those of you on YouTube, and so you will be seeing some photos I took the day of, during, and after Ivan. You know, some of the stuff that took place.
A bit of humor, and I just tell her the first time she had Fuji mackerel broth. Was during Ivan.
Ivan is the reason I no longer like cricks. That's the reason I
ate too much.
Can't stand it.
I mean, you had to be. You had to be creative during Ivan time.
I can't stand cricks. I can't stand sausage and tin, and I can't stand mackerel and sardine. From Ivan, that since then can't stand them.
What, for about almost 2 or 3 weeks, every day I would leave and go to a particular shop just to buy a cold drink. You know. They had a generator, because there was no electricity in the area for about 2 or 3 weeks. And every day I would go down, I would spend $5 just to go and have either a Coke or a Fanta some beverage that was available just to drink. It's amazing when you're in certain situations, what you will do, how families will respond, and so. But the experience for us in 2004 was, an experience that we will never forget, and that should help us be much more prepared. All right, know of the signs when it comes to a hurricane. All right, and so we can prepare long, and so. And I want to make another appeal to the persons, to volunteers, right, out there in the different communities, different constituencies, right. The disaster management team is always looking for persons to volunteer their time and their service. For example, in the shelters, and so be part of the team, right? Either in communication, in assessment. We always looking for persons to be volunteers to assist, right? In time before, in preparing for a disaster, during and after. All right. So all of you, citizens who are willing to sacrifice their time and so, right, to come out and be part of the whole NAGMA team. You know how to make the connection. Call NAGMA, right? Let them know that you're interested, and they will direct you to the particular constituency that you're in and the contacts. Okay?
All right. Yes, indeed. And folks, the phone number is 440-7377. We're just having a chat about some of the things that have gone through this week. It's the month of September, and disaster management and disaster preparedness always needs to be at the forefront of our mind in the month of September. Both Ivan and Janet. Yeah, in the month, Janet is the 22nd, I think, somewhere down there, 22nd of September.
Yes, Janet is the 22nd or somewhere in September.
Yeah, so both of them in the month of September, it's usually the time when you have heightened activity in the Atlantic. We've had a pretty quiet year up to this point, and during the month of September, going back to October and ending off in November, it kind of tails off at the end of October there. But at this point in time is when you have in fact, there are several systems out there. You have Tropical Storm Gabrielle, and you have other systems that are forming out there. So we need to be on guard. We need to be prepared. We can't be looking to go and block up Foodland Car Park and everybody jam up in a line inside there when we hear that something is coming. If you're doing that, that's supposed to be for the last minute, the little extra to top up what you have. Yeah? Or you go and you jam up inside by Andals, you can't get a space to pass. Carriacou, the cashiers and them fingers hotting because they cashing and bagging and thing right through. Do it now. Yeah? Have your stuff in place now so that when the time comes, at least you have your food stuff, you have your supply of water, at least for 3 days, your supply of water and so on in place. Make sure that you do that. Just to flip a little bit off of disaster management for a short while, just to let the folks up there in Carriacou know, those of you especially listening via 92.9, that next week, Monday, the National Sustainable Development Plan team, they are going to be in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, early next week. So next week, Monday, they'll be at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center, and they'll be there from 7 p.m. Mr. Kennedy Roberts is the facilitator, and I'm not seeing who the rapporteur is, but Mr. Kennedy Roberts will be the facilitator. So that's going to be taking place in Carriacou at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center in Hillsborough, and that will be taking place next week, Monday. We have a call online.
Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Sheldon. Good morning, Devon.
Good morning, my friend.
How are everything? Yeah, brother Sheldon, Devon. I want to encourage the Grenadian people never to forget the good that people did to them. In 2004, after the Grenada was totally destroyed, we get help from outside countries, right? And when people do good for you, in return we have to do good for people, right? So I want to say to Grenadians, whatever little that we have financially, let us contribute towards the people of Bahamas. Let us reach out and help, because we are all one Caribbean people, and we have to love people. We have to care about and love one another. And Brother Devon, naturally, we remember Ivan. That great deal. I was not yet involved in NAGMA. But the day after NAGMA, the day my house destroyed, While on my way up, now by the Catholic Church, I saw the condition where a lady living under her house. You know what I said to myself? Yes, my home destroyed. But when night time, I have a comfortable place to sleep. I see, yes, I will give her first preference. Right? So that she could have a comfortable place to sleep. So in times in life, we have to put people in front of ourselves. We must not always see ourselves in front and people behind. But sometimes in life, we have to let people be in front of us because the need is greater than our need. Right? And I want to say to the greater people, let them reach out and help people of Bahamas. They are in great need because we are in that situation and they help us. So let us reach out and help the people of Bahamas. God bless you, Brother Devon. Sheldon, you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And the weekend.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so Hurricane Janet was 64 years ago this year.
65 years ago.
64 this year.
Okay.
64 on the 23rd. And Hurricane Janet passed directly between Grenada and Carriacou.
Wow.
That's the track. It passed directly between Grenada and Carriacou.
So you had the whole St. Patrick's, St. Andrews.
St. Patrick and Carriacou would have got it.
And Carriacou would have got the blunt of it.
Yeah, I was just checking on that online. Yeah, seeing some photos of some of the damage it did in other countries. I am not seeing photos of Grenada and what it did in Grenada. I'm seeing some from other countries.
You know, a hurricane that did a number on us too, but we don't talk about it much, is Emily.
Yeah.
The following year.
Yeah.
2005.
Yeah, it did.
July. Yeah, it was July. Emily, I mean... an
early one.
A very early one, and not just that, there could have been a lot of more injuries or perhaps, casualties and so during that time because of a lot of, things that happened during that time. And that is why it's so important for every family, every single person of this country, when it comes to disaster, pay attention to the official voice, okay? And ensure that you're prepared. Never let your guard down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever do that.
But Devon, it comes back to what I was mentioning a short while ago as well, the National Sustainable Development Plan. Yes. Because that would involve land use, that would involve the building codes and so on, how you structure your buildings and all these sort of things. So as I said just before the call, they'll be in Carriacou at the Multipurpose Center next week, Monday from 7 p.m. And in Petit Martinique, they'll be there at the Petit Martinique Roman Catholic School from 7 p.m. the following day, so the Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, the National Sustainable Development Plan, the team will be there in Petit Martinique next week, Tuesday from 7 p.m. and they'll be in Carriacou at the Multipurpose Center from 7 p.m. So you're looking forward to them being up there. We have a caller on the line.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, my brother Devon. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Miss Jacob. And how are you doing?
I'm fine. And Senator Scott, good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you do?
I'm great.
Right, I'm great too. Very great. That Ivan, I could give you a little thing about that. But Ivan come early. Ivan start to come at 10 o'clock in the day. I could tell you because I had my time with him. So when about 11, 12, the wind and the rain start, Papa.
Miss Jacob?
Hey.
You're talking about Ivan or Janet here?
Ivan are talking about because tomorrow's Ivan.
I'm trying to figure out because 10 o'clock had no wind or rain and I was in St. David's.
Eh?
I was in St. David's, 10 o'clock had no wind or rain in my area. Maybe your area had it?
Yeah.
My area in St. David's didn't get it until about 2 o'clock.
And then when 4 o'clock, all the wind and things gone down. And here's something now. My aunt now, she going 5 o'clock or past 6.
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, Oma, let me go. I said, no, Tanti, in the name of Jesus, I'm not going anywhere. Because that time they brought the window over the sink, over the stove, by where the stove is right now. Because you know my house, so you know. The kitchen only the one side, but the dining room. And just imagine, boy, just as if it's somebody that take out that only 2 galvanizer come out in the sitting room. Only 2. She bed dry, my bed dry. So when she going, I say, well, Auntie, I'm not going. When she going, she tell Rover. I say, Rover don't go nowhere. Rover staying with me. And I take it up and then we go and we sit down on in the sofa and the sofa in the dining room there. And when she going now, my brother rooftop come out and he was going down below the road to get rescue. Suppose I say, Lord Jesus Christ, Auntie, look how you would have killed my brother with the 2 sons. 2 of them he had on his shoulder because he was young. Eh? When she think, John say, well, Auntie, where's Oma? Oma said, I say, well, if it's for she to come, she will come. I stay in the house, everything. Rain is the rain that was coming. The wind and them, the kind of go down a little. And who tell you, I stayed there until morning. In the name of Jesus, I stay right home. And you know something? Well, Father Patrick and Father Gerard Paul, they started building. Where is they now? Was the priest that started building for me now?
So
Miss blocks and everything.
So, Ms. Jacob, at this point in time, you are prepared. You are prepared in case that we have a disaster or so.
Well, I'm prepared.
You have your water, you have your first aid kit.
Water could get more water for 2-3 months.
Right, and you know where your closest shelter is.
Yes,
and if need be, and that is good.
According to the situation at those shelters, they could destroy you faster than your home. Eh?
Well, it depends on well, I don't. Well, I don't know. I can't answer that because what I would tell you is that when it's in the selection of shelters and so by the disaster management, they are very careful in ensuring that they choose the best, the safest, those that is that will not bring any additional hazard or problems to the person seeking shelter.
Yes.
So, Ms. Jacob, nice hearing from you this morning.
Talking to you and Brother Sheldon Scott.
And you enjoy the rest of the weekend, okay?
You enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend.
Okay, Ms. Jacob.
Sweetheart?
Take care.
Bye. Love all.
All right, love you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
And folks, in all of this, we must remember that what Ivan has taught us is that we must always be prepared. Yeah.
Right.
Don't want to be caught having to try and find a 2-piece of clothes to wear, or you can't get your medication, or your family members dying because they can't get their medication, or you have to be hungry for a period of time because you're looking for. No, we can't let ourselves get to that stage. We ought to do what has to be done and do it now.
Yeah, we have been through periods where so much lessons have been taught. It's for us to put them into practice, ensure that we are not caught, as the old saying, caught with our pants down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure. Yeah. Folks, also remember the American vessel is coming, the American military vessel, the Comfort. Yeah, it is coming.
Military hospital.
Yeah. But nobody ain't saying Trump send the boat, eh?
No.
Nobody ain't saying that. No, Trump name ain't coming up at all. Nobody ain't saying Trump send the boat.
No.
All right.
If you only keep on thinking Trump, a lot of people go like, But anyhow.
Man, if you're getting medical care, and I'm hearing 2 voice notes being circulated in relation to the boat with a lot of nonsense.
Yes.
Coming out of St. Lucia. Absolute, total, unequivocal nonsense. Doted statements. Don't even attempt to try and believe anything that these individuals are saying in those voice notes. It's just 2 very bitter and, in my mind, vindictive and wicked people that have put together these voice notes and have them circulating. Now, one of the problems we have these days is that anybody could pick up a phone, do a voice note, and sound like they're expert on something and start to circulate it. And many people, without thinking, without verifying, take it and start to circulate it as though that is the truth.
You know,
so these people when circulate, you heard the voice note.
Yeah, I heard about
But this nonsense about the boat and the boat. Just ignore these stupid people, please. Ignore these stupid people. Please do.
But it's ironic, you know. Over the last week or so, in my view, there has been a sort of attack on the people of St. Lucia, right? When it comes to that particular thing. And I was looking at another post, again, Sheldon, last couple of days, where that clip was telling you of the 5 most dangerous fruits we have in the Caribbean.
Nonsense again.
And you understand? And they mentioned St. Lucia in particular, how many deaths in St. Lucia and so. And I mean, we have to be very careful as to when we, you know, get this information, how we disseminate it and what we put to it. And so
there's a movie you need to look at called The Great Hack. And it's how they've used social media to condition people to think in certain ways. And if St. Lucia is under attack now, you know that your turn coming later down the line. So
be prepared.
So bottom line is this though. Yeah? The ship has been going throughout the Caribbean region. It has been providing assistance to different countries, saving the lives of thousands of our Caribbean brothers and sisters, and it's offering the opportunity to the Grenadian people to get the same.
Yeah.
So they'll be offering dental and other services and so on from 2 facilities. They'll be using the Grenada Trade Center and the Grenada National Stadium, the cricket side, I believe. They'll be over on the cricket side. So the Grenada National Stadium, and they'll also be over at the Grenada Trade Center, 2 locations. So you can head to whichever one between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Don't think you could go there 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and so. It's between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Yes, so they have ophthalmology. They're doing things with your eyes, and so if you have cataracts that need to be removed, they could do that for you and all these things. If it's surgery, they fly you out to the boat. The boat is too large to dock on the cruise ship port or on the port itself here. It's too large to dock, so it'll be staying out in the water, and they'll be transferring persons who are due for surgery. They'll be transferring them via helicopter from the mainland over to the boat. Yeah? So they'll be transferring persons back and forth, right? When you're going there, if you're okayed, you need to ensure that you have somebody to go with you. It can't be that you go and you go alone. Nope. You must have somebody that go there. They'll provide food, they'll provide housing, they'll provide everything, various things there for you. All right?
Sheldon, I want to make an appeal to our business people, employers out there who may have employees wanting to go, wanting to visit, and so. We ask you to be a bit flexible, right? And grant them permission, you know, when it's needed and so. We cannot tell you what to do, but in your wisdom, you know.
But the thing is this, do you prefer to have a healthy employee who can properly carry out their job with next to no sick days?
Yeah.
A person who can be there, they're energetic, they're able to carry out their job, or an employee who is sickly, have to leave every 2 minutes, and that sort of thing.
What happens to production?
Yeah.
It falls.
And then an employee who, after a period of time, you have to go to the funeral. So you have to give your staff time off to go to the funeral and go to the funeral.
You can only lose. Lose.
Yeah, so it's better to let them go.
Yes, you know.
Let them go. And people with things like kidney stones and things that you may have to do the surgery, this is a good opportunity to get to do that surgery. People with different surgeries, all different surgeries that you may have to do. Plastic surgery. I want to say plastic surgery. You don't mean people who want to get a nose that does look something like mine. We mean nah, forget that.
Or a Michael Jackson nose.
Or somebody want to put on a little more size on the rear end. Or the females who want to put on a little size on the upper end. That is not, we ain't talking about those kind of plastic surgery. But corrective plastic surgery, a burn victim who wants to get that surgery to look a little better and that sort of thing. Or maybe other people who've been through different situations and need some plastic surgery. And especially children. Yeah? Who you want to give that sort of self-esteem and so over a period of time. So they are offering plastic surgery. They have plastic surgeons on the boat that they're offering plastic surgery as well. They say plastic, but it's not plastic that does use all the time. But plastic surgery. People who have to do the MRIs and different stuff and so. So they are offering that. And you may be on a waiting list right now that says that your surgery is done in November or December
January.
or next year.
Yeah.
You may be on a list that says that.
And you can be pushed up.
And that's the thing. You getting the opportunity now that you could get that surgery done and out of the way right now.
Because remember, on a daily basis, right, for the 5 or so days, what you will find, each one of the centers will see at least approximately 500 persons per day. I mean, that is extraordinary. So we have, as a people, we have to make good use of those facilities, the opportunities that are being given to us, especially health-wise. A lot of us keep complaining about health. Health is so important, right? What we can't and what we cannot get here in Grenada. Now we have an opportunity, another opportunity, to ensure that we continue to be a healthy people, thus making Grenada that prosperous and healthy nation. You know?
Yeah, and folks, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes so that you can get your pen and paper close by, because I'm going to give you a series of numbers for those of you especially that have surgeries coming up or maybe in need of a surgery, and you haven't gotten a date yet, that you'd be able to get these things done. And then you have people who need to do root canals and these kind of things, these different dental procedures. They've got the facilities to do that. Some of them, I think they may be doing on land instead of out on the boat. But the major surgeries, they're going to be bringing you out to the ship.
Let me ask a question, Sheldon. You may have more, because I didn't hear the PRO from the Ministry of Health say
We're gonna bring them in next week,
Oh, I was wondering, can you, for example, you may have 2 or 3 major issues that you want to deal with, right? That is of, right? Can something worked out, for example, you may have some dental issues, you may have serious problem with your eyes, and you may, and I'm wondering if it is possible.
What I could say is this: choose the one that's most life-threatening.
That's most life-threatening, and go for it.
Choose the one and get that one sorted out.
And then, if anything after it's.
You can't have heart issues and decide you're going and do your teeth and your heart and all that. Deal with the heart. And then outside of that, sometimes in the medical field, they prefer to deal with one issue at a time. Yeah. So if this is the major issue, let's deal with that. And when that is resolved, then we can deal with the others and so on. So whatever is the major issue, you're going to deal with that. This will not be like the Ark Peace. It will not be a situation that you're going on the boat and then you decide, well, I'm going over from dental and I'm going over to eye care, and then I'm going over to check on my internal organs and I'm going to check on this. They're not going to be doing these sort of checks and that sort of thing. You know you have an issue, you come. Yeah? And it's not that I'm diabetic and I come to see how my blood sugar is. No, leave that for one of the
clinic and
thing. You could go right now. There are lovely ladies at all them nurses all over the place. Yeah. You could go there.
Different health centers around.
I'm getting a message here. They will not be coming to Carriacou. The team will not be heading to Carriacou because of the limited time and resources. They will not be heading to Carriacou, unfortunately so. But what is being done is that the folks who are in Carriacou, and for instance, you may have someone in Carriacou who needs to do a surgery, that individual, they can contact, and I'm going to be giving the numbers again. I haven't given the numbers yet because I'm giving you time to get your pen and paper together. You can contact Dr. Martin or Dr. Charles or Dr. Mitchell, or no, not Dr. Keith Mitchell, other Mitchell, one in St. David Day, or Dr. leave Dr. Keith Mitchell alone. No, not he on that one. Or Kevin Frederick, the PRO there, you could contact them, and they will help you make the arrangements and so. But you can come down from Carriacou, and you will be given... He didn't want to use that word, so I don't want to use that word.
But this is still... No
preference.
You'll be given preference or special treatment.
Yeah, so you'll be guided through the process because we know that you have to get back onto the boat or the plane to get back up to Carriacou by a specific time. So the best way to deal with that would be to contact your constituency representative's office as well, so that they can have individuals down here waiting for you. So they know that you're coming down on the Osprey on Tuesday, and they organize and they have a bus or they have whatever. Come, or if you're using your own transport and your name is submitted, so when you get down to the trade center or when you go across to the stadium, whichever way you decide to go, that they know that this person is coming from Carriacou with this issue. These are the thing, information for them is already there, and they can deal with you in that sense.
Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
And Petit Martinique, yeah?
That's very important.
So they will not be sending a team up to Carriacou. As it is right now, they are not sending a team to Carriacou, but arrangements are being made for people in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, for coming down, when you come down, so that they can deal with that. All right? Okay, Popo?
So all of you out there who you know you want to access the medical facilities there, ensure you have another week to ensure that you make your calls, preparations, so that you have an opportunity, all right, to be attended to.
All right. Okay. And the numbers, all right? So Dr. Francis Martin, you can find him on 405-0311. That's 405-0311. All right? You can find Kevin Frederick. You can find him on 415-9463. That's 415-9463. And you could also find Kevin on 417-8253. 417-8253. Outside of that, you can call the Ministry of Health on 440-2649. That's 440-2649. And you can ask for the following extensions. 21014. I believe that's Kevin's extension. 21014. For Dr. Francis Martin's extension, it's 21073. But Dr. Francis Martin is a man always on the move. We better get him on the mobile.
Yeah, the mobile is
he's a busy guy. So 21073, just in case you could get him there. Dr. Sean Charles, who's also working along with this visit, you can get him on 21037, extension 21039. Dr. Sean Charles' extension is 21039. 21039. And the Chief Medical Officer, you can get him on 21009. 21009. Remember the team, they're going to be here from Sunday the 15th. They're actually starting. So those of you that can make it to the stadium or the Trade Center on that Sunday, Sunday the 15th of September, and the project ends on the 20th, Friday the 20th of September. So you can try to make it between that period. People who are working during the week, try Sunday. Yeah, those of you that are working during the week, you can try for Sunday. So Sunday the 15th of September to Friday the 20th of September. All right? Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think that answers my friend asking there. I think that answers. Devon, I want to play something, but I ain't too sure if I should play it. And I want to play something, but I ain't too sure if I should play it. We've been talking about Dorian earlier. You think I should play it?
Yeah, let's.
You think people could take that by 4 minutes long? Let's try and play that. Let's hear from one father what he went through during Hurricane Dorian. Many people may not have heard it.
A father recounted the terrifying moments his 5-year-old son was swept by destructive tides from the roof of a home in Murphytown, Abaco, as Hurricane Dorian crushed homes, uprooted trees, flattened churches, and buried the town he once called home in a watery grave. 38-year-old Adrian Farrington, who injured his right hand and leg during the ordeal, has been recovering at the Princess Margaret Hospital since Monday. His son, Adrian Jr., disappeared under the mounds of debris that floated on top of the water sometime on Sunday and hasn't been seen since.
I just hope they find him. Because a 5-year-old in that kind of search, they don't stand much a chance.
Farrington said his family, including his wife and their 2 children, were forced to go into the catastrophic conditions after their home had become compromised. They sought refuge in a nearby home, but soon had to abandon that as well.
We had to exit that house, and we went to higher ground to a different house, which had a manhole. Take my wife, take her son and my son. I put them up inside the manhole. We were safe there for a while till the water started to enter the manhole.
He said after he and his family abandoned a third home, a piece of debris sparred his leg, hampering an already chaotic and tedious journey. As his leg bled and he struggled to stay afloat, his son held tightly onto his back. Farrington said he saw a truly horrific sight.
After about an hour of treading water and bleeding, I noticed I saw some fins swimming along the houses. So I grabbed my son and I put him on top of the roof. But before I could have sit on the roof to hold him, the gust from the hurricane dragged him across the roof, back into the surge on the next side. By the time I come down, try to move debris and get back around, I come on down and I couldn't see, so I was like feeling, see if I could feel some kind of cloth, some kind of skin, flesh, tennis, something. I find nothing. Come back up. I hold my breath and I come back down again. All this time, people carrying my wife to safety and they calling me. But I won't go because I didn't want to leave my son. Keep looking for him. Keep looking for him.
Exhausted and hopeless, Farrington said he took off again on his own, desperately trying to get to higher ground. But when he got there, he couldn't walk. Farrington said he had to crawl on his stomach towards a nearby church where about 8 to 12 people were seeking shelter.
The wall of the church was moving like when you put cloth on the line on a breezy day. So after I noticed the wall was shaking so much, I moved from a seated position to a standing position with the entrance of the door right there. And when I feel the wall pushing me, all I do is I hold on the wall and I get in the entrance of the door. And everybody else who's inside, they run to try to hold the wall. And I watch the wall and the roof crush everybody inside the church. There's a guy, I could have seen him. I tap on him, I ask him if he's okay. I ain't getting no response. I didn't want to stay there, so I creeped from there.
Farrington said he also watched as a man seemed to give up on life after the cries from his family who had been trapped inside a water-filled home dried up. But he said it's the last memory of his son that keeps him up at night.
I still remember him reaching for me, calling me, Daddy. I just hope they find him. I just hope they find him. Because a 5-year-old in that kind of surge, they don't stand much a chance.
Hurricane Dorian is the strongest storm to ever make landfall in the northern Bahamas. Farrington, who weathered the elements for several hours until he was rescued, said no one could have prepared for the terror brought on by the killer storm.
The shelters where they send people crush people. Homes where they say was safe wasn't safe. Yeah, right. The school where they say is a shelter, it ain't had no shelter because the roof get blow up. When the surge didn't destroy, the winds destroy.
For the Guardian News Network, I'm Gillian Gray.
Yeah, folks, that one.
It is.
I know it's hard.
So sad.
Hard one.
And there are so many families out there in the Bahamas who have lost a loved one and so. And we really want to share, our condolences to all of them. Our brothers and sisters out there, because there are a lot of Grenadians out there. Also,
Grenadians all over.
Yeah, we're not hearing much of the family members, saying anything. But let's hope that everything is all right with all the survivors and so.
Okay, you want another story, man?
Well, it's
it
about
came
the time
over
to do
the
that.
roof. I would imagine 21 feet at least. We were doing all right until the water kept coming up and all the appliances were going around the house like a washing machine. That's probably I got hit with something in there. And my poor little wife got hypothermia and she was standing on top of the kitchen cabinets until they disintegrated. And then I kept with her and she just drowned on me. I'm so sorry. I know. So...
How did you get out?
I got out. I had a big boat anchored in there. I'm a crab fisherman, and I have a 40-footer on a mooring, which stayed there. So I didn't even think it was there. So I had got out of the house after my wife drowned, and because you couldn't be in there anymore. And I had no tools to chop a hole in the roof, in the ceiling. So I swam. I saw my boat was still there, and I swam. I took a chance and swam out to it.
Yeah, just horror story after horror story out of there.
You know,
so folks, if you can help, please help. If you can help, remember, let me get that number again. The Grenada Cooperative Bank, the National Disaster Management Agency of Grenada, they have activated the emergency account, the number 121004900. That's 121004900.
You know, Sheldon, and listen to some of the stories and based on experiences and so, one of the important piece of equipment or something that you should always have in your preparation in disasters is tying rope and so. You know, it is so important to have, you know, couple lengths, couple feet of things like rope and so, where it comes in very, very handy. You know, and so
might also be nice to have a little axe.
Yes.
A little hatchet.
That's
be important too.
Very important.
If you know where to find one, go down and check parcels on River Road. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Go and check bread. Go down by River Road by parcels. I'm sure he have little hatchet and
also
axe.
has a bottle.
Ramdani has.
Yes.
Nice.
Good one from them too. So all these things are very, you know, handy. So to all the fathers or the head of the whole household and so in preparing, one of the things that I think you should, you know, have, you know, in your possession is a number of feet of rope, you know, in case you need to tie. You may even have to tie members of your family in case of severe flooding, you know, and so it's so important that to be prepared.
So, folks, remember, if you can assist, send your local $5, $10, 5,000, 20, 30, you know, wherever you have. Send it to that bank account. And I'll continue to give you the bank account number because it's important.
Very important.
Yeah, it's 121004900. And I'm looking for it, and I'm sure I'll give it correct, you know. Yeah, I'll give it correct. 121004900. Send a little something to that. Let's say a special good morning to the immigration officers.
Yes.
Men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force, and in particular immigration officers or prison officers, good morning to you. We know you're not RGPF, but separate. But prison officers, good morning to you. Customs and excise, we say a special good morning to each and every one of you as well.
Our Coast Guard brethren.
Yeah, man. Well, you know we was getting in trouble there one time.
Yeah, you know.
We had to say that one, you know. You're getting in trouble there. So, all right. So a very special good morning to you all. Again, reminder, the not Coast Guard vessel, the U.S. naval vessel, hospital ship will be here between the 15th to the 20th of September. 15th to 20th of September. And just for more information on it, you can contact Dr. Francis Martin, 405-0311, Kevil Frederick, 415-9463 or 417-8253. You can call them at the Ministry of Health, 440-2649, extensions 21014, 21073, 21039 or 21009. Any of the people that answer any of them numbers and them days, people that could help you. Yeah. Given a lot of numbers, boy, them people and them piece of paper may be full in front of them today.
Yeah, it's important. And I want to stress on something. Some comments have been here by one or two persons, not much, but it's worthwhile mentioning. Look, your health is your wealth. And let's forget about Grenada. But you as an individual, your health is one of the most important things that you have. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed to go and seek medical attention. Right? Stop using the whole political swing. Oh, it is the NNP that is bringing it and we don't taking part in that. I've heard it. I just want to appeal to persons. Be light-minded, right? And think of yourself and your family when it comes to health, irrespective of who under which government, who is organizing it. If it is an opportunity for you, right, to be a healthier person, then so be it. Take that opportunity. Please, I'm begging. Okay? And I have my reasons for saying it. I just had to.
You mean people saying don't go anything?
Yes, man, I have heard that comment. You know, it sounds so foolish, and so.
So
And,
let me ask you. Okay, you may go to get assistance that you don't have to pay for, assistance that could save your life.
Exactly.
And you're going to allow somebody to convince you not to save your life. That person paying for your funeral?
I'm trying to. I mean, look, we need to think.
That'd be the biggest dummy in Dumbland.
Yeah, we must. We have to think better than that.
Anybody telling you that don't like you?
They could never like you. They don't have no love for you. If they are finding some ways and means to prevent you from seeking medical attention, understanding that a majority of us in this country cannot afford financially to get the best help that we may need. But it's coming. It's definitely coming. The National Health Insurance, right? It's a work in progress, and where every single Grenadian will be afforded the opportunity, right, to get much better health care and facilities. So don't use the political thing to, make people feel thing about, it is this person or this government that doing it, and don't take part in that. They
Don't say Trump send the boat logo?
Yeah, I wonder if some of them will go say that too. You understand? And they go look for a vote and blah, all sorts of foolishness. Grenadians.
So you prefer that then?
Yes, I understand. Grenadians, right? Be light-minded. Think for yourself, right? Your health is important. When you're on that bed in the hospital, the so-called friends and even family, they are not paying attention to you as they should. They are not giving you what you need to get. So seek it for yourself, for you and yours. I just had to say that.
You could say it again, and it don't matter.
You
could say it again. I can understand that that's not a sensible thing.
No, we think that's too narrow.
No wonder some of them don't want hard talk around.
Yes, because
we have sensible conversations.
Yeah, and it's
realistic
important,
conversations.
Getting people to know what is the right thing to do and what not
Think
to.
Think for yourself. Don't let people just force an idea into your mind. Think for yourself. Use your critical thinking skills and think for yourself.
We are mature, independent-minded people. Let us exercise it.
Oh boy. Reminder to those of you in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, remember the Sustainable Development Team, they'll be up there this Monday, and they'll be there from 7 p.m. at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center, and in Petit Martinique on Tuesday from 7 p.m. at the Petit Martinique Roman Catholic School. All right, and start your preparations to head on the medical boat. Those of you that would like to preserve your life, if you don't want to live, well, there's nothing that we can do in relation to that. But we're telling you, here's an opportunity for those of you that want to utilize that opportunity provided by the American people. Yeah, it is coming, and you do have the opportunity to go and sort yourself out. All right? Nice.
Good morning to the Ministry of Health. I call them the roving team, the team that are always outside, ensuring that they take care of your mosquito problems, and so identifying the areas in which that need attention when it comes to the breeding of mosquitoes and rats and all these sort of things. Good morning to that team out there. I'm not sure which area you are in today, but you usually go out there and ensure that the different household, the water tanks are being managed properly. They don't have too much garbage and so unwanted things around their home, things that they need to get rid of. You identify them. So continue doing a wonderful job that you have been doing, guiding people along healthy tips, ensuring that we have a healthy nation. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And folks, not because you ain't have no major one that pass yet, but let's make sure that we eradicate the mosquito population.
Yes.
Because you see every now and again one of these kind of thing passing across.
Yes. You know.
Yeah, just saying it, huh? Right.
And again to the environmental wardens out there. You must come in for praise, right? You continue to do a good job. You know, we talk about hurricanes and disasters and so, but without the environmental wardens put out there by the government to ensure that the drains stay clean and the overhangings are being taken care of and so, right? This can be disasters waiting to happen. When we preparing for the rains to come and so, if we do not keep the drains and cut the overhangings and so, if we do not keep that in check, we have another disaster. So kudos to all of you, the team that is out there, the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, ensuring that these things are taken care of. I say good morning to you and continue to do an excellent job.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Devon, wait now, we didn't get the phone number again.
Yes, we didn't give that. We give it once.
440-7377.
And 347-329-3101.
There's also been an interesting week in politics in the United Kingdom. Boris Johnson head kind of hurting him right now.
Yeah, headache. Yeah, serious headache.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting week. Very, very interesting week in in politics in the United Kingdom. In fact, the law that prevents him from leaving the European Union on the 31st of October without an agreement with the European Union countries, that was passed in the House of Lords a while ago. So it's been passed, yeah. So he is between a rock and a hard place.
He's spit it up in mud, you call that.
Well, he's decided that he will call a general election. And he kind of pull a NDC on them today, you know. Just kick out a pile of people from the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know how he's going to survive that one. He pull a NDC there. He kick out anybody that voted against the measure, that voted for that measure to block the no-deal Brexit. He kicked them out.
I think, in my view, that's a dictatorial attitude that he took. You know, because
tough times sometimes call for tough measures.
Exactly, but then the tough measures you take, right, will decide whether you remain where you are or you fall.
Of course, there are consequences, as Tillman Thomas found out. There are consequences.
Serious consequences. You know, so you may try to uphold a particular principle you as an individual have, and not paying attention to those who out in the field or who understand, who have a different view to you, and you think you know it all and your way is the way, and hey. And the thing about it, when these consequences come about, it's not you alone as the individual who play in the big stone and standing up that will affect, you know, but it will affect the entire country because of your negligence and your hard-headedness. And we've seen it right here in Grenada, you know, on occasions when political leadership within your country and so, you know, decide to take a hardened stand on certain issues. They find themselves not just between a rock and a hard place, but drowning. You know, so we just have to pay attention, as they call them the motherland.
But one of the things, the motherland is a little bit south to the UK. Yeah. My motherland is south to the UK. It's not in the UK. It's south to the UK. It's much larger, more diversified. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things, though, is that what Prime Minister Boris Johnson is saying, and I tend to understand where he's coming from with that argument. He's saying, in his negotiations with the different European Union countries, because he had stated clearly and bluntly that come whatever, we are leaving on the 31st, he was in a position of power in negotiating with them. In other words, that those European countries stood to lose a lot by Britain leaving without an agreement on the 31st of October. So that in his negotiation, he could have and would have gotten a better deal for the people of Britain if he had kept that. It may not have been the case that he left without a deal on the 31st, But because he was threatening that, look, if you don't agree to some of what we're asking for, we are gone as of the 31st, and then you're going to have problems when you're trying to send your goods into England, into the UK. I shouldn't say England. England's just part of the UK. But we are going to have a problem when you're trying to send your goods into us. Your items that you've bought from us that need replacement parts and so on, you won't be able to get them as easily as you were getting them before.
Shipping and land transportation difficult.
It's going to be a problem. You are going to have problems. Your economy our economy will suffer, but we'll be able to take care of that. But your economy as well is going to suffer. So that he was in a position of strength in being able to argue for new deals before the 31st. It's not that he necessarily on the 31st would have gone without a deal. It's that he was trying to force them to give him the best deal for the people of England. And he's saying now that what has happened, what some of his own people in his organization have done, is take away that strength, that bargaining position from him. Now that you're saying in 2020 is when they're going to leave the European Union. They've extended the date to sometime in 2020. I don't think the date has been settled, but sometime in 2020. So that he's no longer in a position of strength to negotiate for a proper deal. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. And you see,
and I could understand that.
And I can understand that. But my problem with him and some of the other leaders, it's always about them, the individual, what they can do and what they, think. In my view, he has taken a position whereby his way or no way.
Well, I don't want to say totally that he's taken that position, because when you look at it as well, he has also said, listen, I am willing before that date to go to a general election, and you will have the opportunity to decide if the person you want to negotiate with the European Union as your prime minister is me, Boris Johnson, or if the person you want to negotiate with the European Union is Jeremy Corbyn of the Labour Party.
Political strategy.
No, but not only political strategy, but he's doing the right thing. He says, listen, because he could lose. He could go to the election and lose, He could win, but he could also go and lose, although I don't see him losing. But he could win or he could lose. But he's saying, listen, let's have a general election. Let's have that general election before the 31st of October so you could decide who it is you want to go and negotiate on your behalf. I think that's only fair. That was blocked too. That has been blocked as well.
Yeah, because I don't think his fellow MPs and them saw or see the genuinity in him as an individual. You see, because it goes not just because he's prime minister, but all the time before, while he was in government, and so his approach and everything, most of these things come back to haunt him at this point in time. But again, that's for them to settle, although it will ultimately affect us as one of the small nations within the Caribbean, whether whatever the UK decides to do. Ultimately, we will feel, right, some of the pressure, right, or Grenadian parent persons who are up there, right, as you rightly said yesterday, will definitely have some, fallout of all of that. So,
Yeah, it is going to affect, because if the UK economy is affected, it affects the remittances that are coming from the UK to the Caribbean. And many families have people that they depend on in the UK that send their remittances down. You want the remittances money, send down money to their family down here in Grenada and Carriacou, Petit Martinique, etc. They have, although not Petit Martinique so much, Petit Martinique people really. There's a big argument going on right now. But there's a big argument going on right now. That's another one, That, in fact, I don't feel I want to get into that one, Let me leave that one alone.
I'm rooting for whatever it is in your mind. I'm going for Petit Martinique. Good morning to.
Nah, boy. I will leave that one alone. Boy.
Good all of you who have been listening to us, joining us, via the different electronic. And so, good morning to you in New York and in Toronto, Montreal, in the UK, wherever you are. Washington, Miami. Good morning to you. And
outside of the CPL, what do we have this weekend? haven't heard
we
much.
had football yesterday. Grenada coming up against St. Kitts.
Mhm.
And Grenada won 2-1.
2-1. That's
2-1,
wonderful. Yeah.
They won 2-1. It's part of the CONCACAF qualifying.
GFA and sending info for me again. I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Chenny kind of.
And he's doing a lot of things taking place. You know.
And I must say, as a former footballer, a sports person for a long, long time, in this era, right? I think Chenny Joseph, as president of GFA, has done more justice to GFA than in my view, than any other GFA president. Right? He has more opportunities, yes, and everything like that, but he has led GFA from a little known organization to basically an organization that is, out there on the world stage. And I must say congratulations to both he as the head of the team and his entire team, right, that has definitely taken the Grenada Football Association and football in Grenada to a different level. We have seen the women's football, right, moving from one stage to another. I remember in that competition they had here, with all the different teams coming from the Americans and the Canadians and so on, the performance Grenada put on. I mean, we were not impressed. But look at the team right now. I'm wondering how much of us is following, right? The female footballers of this nation. They have been doing an excellent job when it comes to football. Administration, GFA has been doing good. They have a technical director there that is, he knows what he's about, and led by the president, Chenny Joseph, you can only see better things happening to football in Grenada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sports in general, right now we're looking down the barrel of the World Championships, which will be taking place next month in Doha, Qatar. And we do have Anderson Peters, we have Markham Felix, we have Kurt Felix, we have Lyndon Victor, we have, I'm naming the people team for them.
Yeah.
And they haven't sent out, Josh Boateng. They haven't actually sent out the official list of the Grenada team yet. Karani James, who has not ran for the year thus far, he has up until the end of tomorrow to participate in a meet. And if he does not, he cannot run in the World Championships. We also know that his rival, South African Wade van Niekerk, who is still recovering from that knee injury that he had a couple of years ago. He ran earlier this year, but he re-injured himself and therefore will not be participating in the World Championships as well. In my mind, I think both of them and them looking at Olympics and forget our World Championships. I think both of them looking at the World Championships after this one, and therefore they're not focusing on this World Championships. Yeah, I haven't gotten in contact with Karani's people to find out if he will. If he might try to run either today or tomorrow in a meet or so that he qualifies. It has to be an IAAF meet. So I'm not sure if he's going to try that or if he's just going to sit it out and make sure that he's back to as close to 100% as he can be so that the Olympics, because we know World Championships and so people pay attention to it, but the world pays attention to the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games is the big one. That's where everybody wants a Olympic champion. They say that before they say anything else. Yeah. World Olympic champion. And then they say world champion. And so, it's Olympic champion. So they're looking forward to that one. So
you know what I would like to see much more of?
One thing before we go here, folks, and don't put Karani out of your prayers and thoughts. Keep him in your prayers and thoughts. All right? Nice. Go ahead. Yeah, you were saying?
I sort of lose the thought.
Lord? Sorry.
Let's go. No problem.
Yeah, but when it comes to because sometimes when our athletes are on the top, we have a lot of people that are there and they, Karani, and you want to name your children Karani, and everything is Karani, and you're passing and you're shouting him, and you want to see him, and every time you go in and do a race, you're hiding from work because you want to go and make sure you watch, and all sorts of things. And then when they're not racing, or they're not performing at the level that they used to perform at before, we tend to forget them. Yeah? We tend to forget them. I'm saying don't do it.
I want to make an appeal to the Olympic Association, the Athletic Association, and even the Football Association, the associations that are responsible for sporting activities in our country. And so, right, you guys and girls, you have a body responsible for disseminating information when it comes to the different sporting activities and so. But we tend to hear very little of some of our international athletes out there. I mean, yeah, because we have access to Facebook and all these things, we pick up a lot of information on our own. But what happened to the structure in which the organization has to disseminate information to let the Grenadian people know about the performance of our athletes? It is the Grenadian people's investment, right, that is out there. They are the children of Grenadians, and the country has invested in them.
You want to rough up my Olympic Association?
Yeah, it is their duty. I find
Let
not.
me tell you this. The Olympic Association does do a lot. The problem is they don't talk much.
That's my point. Yeah. Dissemination of information.
It's not that they're doing anything, They're doing a lot.
You understand?
A lot.
The swimmers. We need to hear what is going on. Enlighten us. Get us more involved, right, in these activities. When you have swimming and whatever in our country, you want to see mass participation, right, by the population. So let us inform us. Let us know their performance. Give us an opportunity to tell them thank you, to praise them, to feel glad that we have persons representing us in the different fields out there. It's about time. We need to do much more. Talk more.
Toro is saying here, Cheney must be given credit, and there have been lots of improvements in the local football infrastructure and the international profile of Grenada's football. The burning question, which is often discussed, is whether our football on the field has improved.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's up for discussion.
It's up for discussion, though, because depending from which angle, I think that
even if you name 4 other people that chaired Grenada football, and you add all their achievements together, can't come even to 25% of what Cheney Joseph achieved.
See,
not even 25%.
What I think Cheney's role at this point in time is, right, is he is ensuring that football in Grenada has a foundation, solid foundation. Unlike in the past, yes, we had the football organization, but nothing was done to ensure, right, that we have, for example, a headquarters of GFA, right? We have a technical person there.
And they've done improvements to fields and so on. Exactly, they've done fencing of fields. They're the reason that Montrouge is now fenced.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they
look at fun. Right?
We'll take this call, which will be the final call for the week.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Devon.
Hey, boss.
Devon.
Hey.
You need to go up and Granite and shout that out. I think they heard you. I think they heard you. You need to go up 1910, climb on one of the out because seriously, you don't hear nothing about that. No athletes out of Grenada along those lines. You have to keep digging and searching and, through other mediums, through the world, different countries, and they might come across information about these athletes and them. There's a lot of information Grenadians need to know, and it is the different entities within the country. It is their duty to get it out there.
Yeah.
Not just for Grenadians at home, but Grenadians outside of Grenada too.
Yeah,
on that note, guys, have a great weekend.
All right, sir.
All right, come on.
I wouldn't do.
One love.
All right, guys.
I wouldn't do them kind of thing you're doing.
Yes, indeed. No, there has to be a mechanism, and you have to understand that the Olympic Committee operates within a context. I don't think a lot of people understand this aspect of it. The Olympic Committee operates in relation to the other sporting associations. It doesn't operate on its own. Yeah? So, for instance, if you have to get some athletes to represent Grenada in athletics, it's not just the Olympic Committee, but it's the Grenada Athletic Association.
I mentioned all of them.
Some in swimming, you must get the Grenada Swimming Association. Yeah, so the different associations, they have buy-in into the athletes and they're going out there and so. Probably an overreaching public relations entity from within the Olympic Association that works along with all the other associations and sends out news saying this is what is happening, that is what is happening. Probably that needs to be done.
I think the Ministry of Sports also too should get involved in terms of coordinating information together with the Olympic Association.
They can do that. Some people still have the misunderstanding that it's the government and the ministry that sends athletes out. It's not the government, it's not the ministry. The government can offer support.
That's what it is.
The Ministry of Sports can offer support to an athlete that's going out there to represent Grenada. But they cannot send an athlete. It's not the Minister of Sports decide, well, this one going and run and that one going and swim. It is the Olympic Association, and they can't even do it on their own. They have to do it together with the various associations who have representatives on the Grenada Olympic Committee. Yeah? So it's not that I'm defending the Olympic Committee, but I have a clear understanding of what takes place. But I'm in agreement that a lot more information needs to come out about our athletes.
The PR needs to up the game.
We try to do it here. For instance, Damian Daniel is going out to represent Grenada in an international. This one is not regional now. And he's undefeated in his last 11 or so regional competitions. Different competitions that he's gone to. I think it was Peru or wherever he went the last time. This time he's going on an international level to represent Grenada. So he started his training. So you know that he's getting up 2 o'clock in the morning and I take X amount of eggs, how much protein and so on and all these things. And he needs support.
Big slice of chicken and breast and...
But sometimes it had to be without the skin, without salt and all sorts of different special things that he has to do. So he needs support. So we're going to continue talking about that next week, folks. That's all our time for today. It's been wonderful being here with you back on air on Hard Talk after a nice vacation. Well rested.
A wonderful vacation.
But tired me this week, boy. I need to tell you.
Duncan!
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, boy. I'll get some rest. Take what I'm telling you. All right. Folks, it's been wonderful being here with you. In all that you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
Love each and every one of you. We are out.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
NADMA says relief aid from Grenada must be properly coordinated according to the needs of the Bahamas. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Thursday, September 5th, I am Rakisha St. Louis. Grenada's relief efforts must be organized and properly coordinated. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, will be coordinating the relief efforts from Grenada to the government and the people of the Bahamas. The agency's coordinator, Superintendent Sylvan McIntyre, said our assistance to the Bahamians must be structured and conducted on a needs basis. The Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama were completely devastated by Hurricane Dorian, leaving over 78,000 residents homeless and at least 20 dead. Grenadians are encouraged to donate water, sanitation material, and money.
One of the things that we want to guard against in times like this is that there are people who, in the urgency, the emergency situation, uses the opportunity and capitalize on opportunity to do things that might be unscrupulous. And what we would want to say is to ensure that people do things that is transparent and that it is done coordinatedly so that the people that are most affected, they benefit from the effort. We are encouraging persons who wish to make a contribution, that monetary donations should first be considered.
McIntyre said there is a selection process for relief personnel. As it stands, officials from Grenada are on standby, awaiting directives from the Bahamas.
The Bahamian government would not allow just every and anybody or ad hoc to come into territory, because that could burden the response system. So there is a selection process, there's an identification process. As needs are assessed, the technical experts would be required to come in and assist. There are a few of us from the Caribbean who've been asked to be on standby, as the case may be, because this would be one for the long haul. The emergency period is going to last for some time, and then it goes into the recovery phase and then the reconstruction. So it's quite a long way, and understanding what is really done to the country, it would be a very long time before the recovery process kicks in.
He said individuals interested in sending supplies to the islands must ensure that they are items. According to McIntyre, the island has enough water and food to last for 2 weeks.
The territory, the islands, they have enough food and water to supply the inhabitants for at least 2 weeks. And that in itself is an indication as to how the situation is weighed out. So if we are sending things, we have to ensure that it is what is required. It is supposed to be non-perishable, and we want to ensure that when it gets there, it makes good sense and it meets the need of those who require it.
Search efforts continue by rescue officials for survivors. An addition has been made to the machinery used at the Grenada Ports Authority. On Thursday, a commissioning ceremony was held to commemorate the arrival of 6 forklifts that has been acquired by the managerial team of the Ports Authority. General Manager of the Grenada Ports Authority, Mr. Carlisle Phillips, said the equipment will help in the advancement of tasks at the port.
One of the objectives of the Port Authority is to ensure that we continuously take measures to improve the efficiency of our operations, as Mr. Klein would have mentioned, and improve the service that we provide to our key stakeholders. Apart from that, of course, the forklifts are in keeping with the authority's policy to replace its fleet of equipment after a certain reasonable time. In other words, there's no sense we having at the Port Authority equipment that are not modern, equipment that cannot do the work that they are required to do.
2 of the forklifts are 10,000 ton, which can carry heavier loads. Mr. Felix gave the assurance that measures will be put in place so that the machinery can be long-lasting.
While we invest a lot in equipment, and we invest a lot in our staff, and we invest in a number of facilities, we need to pay attention to how we take care of them, especially the heavy equipment and the gears. All right, so going forward, we are going to be looking very critically at that area and put policies and procedures in place to ensure that the equipment, we maximize the lifespan of the equipment.
One of the stakeholders present at the ceremony, representing L.A. Purcell, Stacey Ridges, is thankful to the management of the authority for taking heed to their concerns.
It's a great pleasure to the management and staff of the Grenada Port Authority to see that they have been listening to stakeholders and customers like me, because we operate on this port on a daily basis, and sometimes it could be a real task when we come for a forklift and all is out. On behalf of all the members and staff and stakeholders like myself, thank you so very much, and we know that it's going to make our operation much easier in doing business on the port.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. 65 students from the St. Mark's Secondary School and the Bonnet Government School are now more equipped for the new school term, thanks to donations of school supplies from the Grenada Veterans of Foreign Services. The New York-based organization has assisted over 500 students since the start of their engagement. 45 students from the St. Mark's Secondary School were recipients of backpacks with school supplies. The organization also made a contribution of 2 laptops, 2 tablets, and 2 checks valued at $500 EC to 2 students. President Joseph Granger said the goal is to cover more schools in the island.
Since 2012, I wanted to roughly guesstimate about 500 students so far and counting, because you're going to keep going every year, so there'll be more. Maybe in the next 7 years, maybe hitting 1,500. So it's an ongoing process.
20 students from the Bonnet Government School were also recipients of the donation.
There's 20 lucky students for Bonnet, but I'm thinking that being that I got such a good reception at the St. Mark's School here, I will come back again and I do the same thing for Bonnet. So I think I'll be hitting those 2 schools again and then move on to another school. So maybe when I come back next year, I might try to hit 3 schools. But this is where we're moving from here.
Vice Principal of the St. Mark's Secondary School, Caris DeGans, is grateful to the organization for their timely gesture. She said the school has been succeeding academically and this will push the students to aim higher.
We are very appreciative of the initiative taken on by this particular organization and spearheaded by Mr. Joseph Granger. We are indeed happy that we were seen as a worthy recipient of this particular initiative. And we have been excelling academically at St. Mark's Secondary, and we trust that with this initiative, our students will use the supplies that they would have been given to continue excelling. Students were chosen based on needs. There's some students within our community who may not have been able to afford just the basic things that they need for school. And also we wanted to recognize students who have continually been excelling from Form 1 to Form 3. So it was a mixture of both of those.
And finally, the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, through support from the 4-H unit, is promoting healthy eating habits for students. As we hear in this report from the Ministry of Agriculture's Public Relations Department, they held their first Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen session for the year.
We are curious little hands in the kitchen. We eat healthy.
Teaching children how to eat healthy at a young age increases the likelihood that they will stay healthy throughout their lives. This practice is associated with good nutrition and healthy weight, reduced chronic disease risks, and overall health. These are attributes being taken into consideration by the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, GFNC, as it promotes eating healthy through the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen program, CLHK. With support from the 4-H Club, the Council held its first CLHK session for 2019 at the St. Michael's Roman Catholic School at Bylands on Wednesday, 28th August. 10 students from the school's 4-H Club were guided by officers of the GFNC and supported by the 4-H unit. They were guided on preparing 5 dishes that would aim to replace unhealthy snacks and beverages. The finished products included avocado sandwiches, carrot sandwiches, banana mango bread, fruit pizza, and chicky plantain tots. The students, who were placed in 3 groups, utilized local produce such as watermelon, cantaloupe, avocados, and plantains. They were also taught basic kitchen safety guidelines and exposed to kitchen techniques such as grating and mincing.
And I make sandwich with cheese and carrot. I grate the cheese and I grate the carrot. And I mix it.
and I put it in the sandwich and I make open face.
I grate the carrot. I put it in mint chicken and salt. After I put it in the plantain, after I leave it like bake.
Ms. Fabian Lalit, teacher at the school responsible for the 4-H unit, was an influential figure in bringing the program to her school.
I thought it was a good idea to expose them to healthy snacks. It would help the children to think wisely. They would be more conscious of what they eat, what they put into their mouths, because it has been explained to them, why we do in the session. So and I think that they had fun, so I think they would share what they have learned today with the other children.
Ms. Jessie Douglas, Community Nutrition Supervisor at the GFNC, underscored the importance of the program.
We want to start with our young children. So we want to introduce them to getting an appreciation for their local foods and also learning to prepare those foods. So the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen is undertaking our Food and Nutrition Council that work time to time with young children throughout the Tri-Island states. We expect the children to go home and share with their family members and friends the items they prepare. We also want them to eat local as much as possible.
Mrs. Anna Abraham, Agricultural Officer within the Ministry of Agriculture and Land, responsible for the St. Andrew District of the 4-H unit, highlighted the importance of showing children how to eat healthy.
We tell children to eat healthy, but we never show them exactly what to do, what to eat that is healthy. We know that eating fruits and so are much healthier to use than other things. So what they learned here today will benefit them, health-wise. Instead of eating like I said earlier on, the corn-cobs and all the packet snacks, they can make those things.
The Grenada Food and Nutrition Council has worked with over 10 schools to implement the Curious Little Hands in the Kitchen program. It provides a foundation for healthy eating by inspiring children to learn to cook easy, inexpensive, tasty foods using locally grown produce. Reporting for the Ministry of Agriculture's Public Relations Unit, I am Mina Booker.
Thank you, Mina. That story just ended the national report for today, Thursday, September 5th. Let's recap the top story. NADMA says relief aid from Grenada must be properly coordinated according to the needs of the Bahamas. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.